Cheers, queers. What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today, we're going to talk about why we love the Earth from the Four Elements series. Woo!
Woo! I'm so excited to talk about this because this show surprised me in so many ways, and we'll
So
get
many
into that.
ways. And all in all good ways, mostly. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Good ways.
Yes. So this will not be a scene-by-scene breakdown of the Earth. This is going to be an overview of all the things we loved about this series and what you loved about the series. So thank you in advance to everybody that answered our social media post asking why do you love the Earth, because we will be reading your comments as well. So thank you for adding to our discussion today. If you're looking for more the Four Elements content just in general, we reacted to all of the Earth, and that is available on our Patreon. There are select episodes on YouTube, but the full series and all of its glory is on Patreon. So for $5, you can check all of that out. And we will be reacting to the water, which by the time this post, you probably already have. So that's coming too. So all of the Four Elements will be over there in reaction video form. If you're looking for more content about the Earth specifically, we did do a book club episode where we went through the novel, which is amazing. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest it because honestly, the author is just fantastic and it adds more stuff that wasn't in the show and it's really great. So you should check that out too now that you've seen the series. So it really won't spoil anything for you, to be honest with you. And we will continue that for all of the Four Elements. So look forward to more discussions and book clubs as time goes on.
You're going to have so much content for the Four Elements, so
Yeah.
if you're here right now, enjoy.
You're in the right place. All right, so let's get into the Earth. I want to say what I loved about it is that it had everything. It was romantic, it was funny, and thrilling. I wasn't expecting the thrilling part when I went into this blind. There was more guns and human trafficking than I thought there would be in this story, to be honest with you.
Considering I thought the human trafficking would be at 0%. I was
assume that in just general, and then boom, human trafficking. Shame on us, I guess.
How could we not think about that?
I know. I don't know.
I will say, is it bad that if I actually very much enjoyed the human trafficking storyline because it was very different. I don't enjoy that that's what happened, but I enjoy like that's what they tackled because we haven't seen that. Like that's,
I mean, we see it in life, unfortunately, but
well, yes,
I mean, it hasn't been in my fiction in a long time.
Yes,
I guess you're saying a Thai girl love has not talked about human trafficking.
Yeah, it's unique to that, and it just gave us something new and fresh, and unfortunately, awful people, but like it was very interesting to watch. One thing that I love is Din's introduction, because boy, does that girl come in guns a-blazing.
Literally.
Literally. And they try to set up very early on the parallel between Din and Wasu. Is there ever really a competition between the two of them? I don't think so. But for Rose, who is just coming back from the United States, having to relearn everything again because she's like, what is my life? My old life that I'm just coming back to. She doesn't remember these people.
No.
And then, okay, what I have a slight hard time with is that she doesn't remember Din and Wasu, but then all of a sudden her memories come back so vividly. And I guess maybe when you're in that environment, that's plausible, but they come back so quickly and she's like, I immediately know who you are. Although she had no idea in the beginning.
I think with Rose, like, I mean, again, this is where like the show kind of loses you, but in the novel, you're in Rose's head a lot more. Rose has a hard time reconciling who Din is now versus who Din was as a kid, because Rose has been gone for 14 years. like she, like, of course she doesn't know them as adults. Like she doesn't know any of these people. She just has vague memories from when she was a kid, and like they were playing and nobody had responsibilities, you know what I mean? And here's Din with weapons, and it's like, who the fuck is this? Like Din couldn't defend a grasshopper when she was a child, and now she's like literally guns ablazing. Like he's so to Rose, it's very jarring to be Rose, and you're like, what the fuck happened when I was gone? Why is everybody so different? Like, and the thing about Rose too is Rose is navigating this by herself. She wasn't supposed to. Like her dad was supposed to be there to fill her in because he purposefully shielded her from all the farm politics happening. Because he's like, no, girl, I will handle this. Then you can come back to Thailand. But none of that happened. So she comes back in the middle of all this fuck shit. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And all she has is Modang, who Modang knows a lot of tea, but she also doesn't know everything. So like, poor Rose is trying to like figure out what the hell is going on while her dad's in life-threatening condition and like doesn't know anything. And like her dad didn't prep her for any of this because he was trying to like shield her to protect her, which did her a disservice because then she comes back and she's like, I don't know who are these people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so poor Rose was just trying to like figure this out on her own. And it was like weird. Like, what a weird thing to have to like be like, what does Din have a gun? Like, since when? Why are they pointing guns at each other?
Wait a minute. Why does Wasu have a gun?
Also, I also love in the series the way then they're just like no one has changed. Also at the same time, yeah, they have guns, but everybody's the same. I love the scene where Din and Wasu are pointing guns at each other, and Rose starts egging them on. It's like,
that is definitely one of my favorite scenes.
You just got here, and she's like, "Do it, shoot each other." And it's like, what the fuck?
What would you have done if they actually shot each other?
That was crazy. That was not in the novel, by the way. I just realized that. That was hilarious. Like, Jesus Christ, Rose.
But anyway, like that just shows that is part of like the parallel between the two of them. And like they both have said in the beginning, like that they were close to her dad and that her dad asked them to watch out for her. And the interesting thing is that Wasu got to Rose first. And now as humans, like you kind of tend to lean towards like whatever you're told first rather than, in my opinion at least, like to what to believe. Like, yeah, she can think about it, but like Wasu got to her first, was like, your dad asked me to look out for you. Okay, cool. But then here comes Din saying the exact same thing to her. And so like, who is she supposed to believe? But Wasu was trying so hard to force her to believe him. Whereas Din was didn't try to do everything to get Rose to believe her. Like she trusted her to figure it out for herself and basically gave her the autonomy to choose. Whereas Wasu was trying to take that away from her.
Yep.
Also, it's very interesting because Din was at the scene. Like they say that Din was there that night. So like Din could have been the one to do this, but she did choose Din at the end because of her actions and like the space that she gave Rose to process and decide for herself. And yeah, Wasu's just a pushy asshole.
He is. I mean, Rose tests both of them. Like the thing about Rose is not, and I went off on this in the novel, but like Rose is not a damsel like in distress. Like she could easily be set up that way, but she's not. She's really intelligent, and they make a point. At least the author made a big point to be like, Rose is fucking smart. And Rose tests the two of them because she doesn't know who to trust, to your point, and she doesn't have her dad to ask, like, who the fuck did you say this to? So she has to navigate this by herself. And so she does test them. And again, Wasu is like, you should believe me, right? Because I'm telling you this. And then Din's like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like, you figure it out. Period. And so like she does test them, and when Din says that, that's when she's like, okay, it's obviously you, because you're not trying. If you both tried to push me, then this would have sucked, but you're very like, I trust you to like. Din shows that she trusts her, to your point. So like Rose does set up that test for them. She doesn't just like blindly believe anybody, as she shouldn't. These motherfuckers are trying to kill each other in broad daylight. You shouldn't believe any of these fucking people. Like, poor Rose. Oh my god.
What a way to come back home, though.
Welcome home, Rose. Poor Rose. By the way, the craziest part is at the end when Den's like, it's only been 2 months since all this started. And it's like, what a wild 2 months for Rose. Like, oh my God.
I don't know how I didn't catch that because, damn, that's a lot that happens in 2 months and they end up ultimately getting married.
Twice.
Twice,
yeah,
but I mean, like,
crazy.
for real.
Yeah, that was all
crazy.
2 months. That was 2 months. This is 2 months, which is that's the craziest part of this story is that this all happens in 2 months. It's wild.
Wow, so the dad recovers in 2 months too.
That makes biological sense. He gets out of his coma in 2 months. That makes sense, actually. And then he needs rehab for a long time, like physical therapy and stuff like that. Actually makes sense, but yeah, this was an insane 2 months for Rose. So it starts with shootouts and then it ends with like arresting people and like dead people. What a crazy. Welcome back home,
Oh my
Rose.
gosh, that's something I wasn't expecting in general was
death.
Yeah, Wasu to get shot like that and the dad to die like that.
Dad gets
like
killed.
I just was not expecting that. I thought like, yeah, maybe they'll get locked up, maybe something will happen. God hope they don't give them a redemption arc. They didn't.
No, thank you,
Good
Salmon.
for them.
I'm not doing that. Salmon did not do that. Ugh. Okay, but I guess popcorning. Speaking of redemption arcs, one thing I did not like about the series and where the series did a disservice to the novel is Cow's redemption arc because it was very rushed in the series. Like so rushed. And if you go listen to the novel book club that we did, like I'll talk about Cow's redemption arc, and I actually really liked the way it was written in the novel because it was this very earned, not that redemption needs to be earned, but like narratively it was like an earned redemption arc, and she like goes through all this stuff. It takes years and she makes amends with like Din and Rose. That's not what happened. Like this in the show, they're like, yeah, Din's like, I can never forgive you, which happens in the novel. And then like 5 seconds later forgives her. And then she's at their second wedding. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It just felt really rushed. Like they were basically like, shit, we have to do this in the last episode because you can't reveal the villain. That's the twist, that it was Cow. They reveal it in the penultimate episode, which is 7. And then they're like, well, we have to like go through all of this and explain it and wrap it up by 8. I did not like how they did her redemption arc. They really did a disservice to the author who put a lot into Cow's redemption arc and made it feel very real and narratively satisfying. And in the series, it was not. It was just rushed, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was like midway through episode 7 where she's like, this is no longer your home. I'm no longer your friend. And then like in the beginning of the next episode, that's when she flips. So yeah, I agree that was pretty rushed.
I didn't like it.
But again, it's the time for them as well, because that would have had to been revealed at least one episode beforehand to actually give that story justice. But they didn't have enough time for it.
No, but they could have written it differently in the last episode to mirror the novel a little bit better. But
that makes sense.
That was they didn't. They just So that was the one thing. This was a perfect series for me until that happened, and I was like, no, nope.
That's fair. Popcorning was something that we didn't. I don't have many things that I didn't like.
Yeah,
there was one thing.
That was the one thing.
The one thing I wasn't thrilled with is that when Din gets drunk, she tells Rose that whatever happens that night is because she's drunk. And then Rose just kind of goes with it. But then we get another episode where Rose basically she doesn't say anything, but she gets drunk. And then that's when the intimate contact is initiated again. And so like it happens both while they're drunk. And the other person just kind of lets it happen until they fall asleep on top of the other person. Like this happens twice, the exact same thing, basically. So I don't like things that are happening when they're drunk. I need, at least they weren't drunk at their wedding. I mean, I don't assume so.
No. Okay, I want to talk about this because this was something that does not happen in the novel that they put in the show. So let's talk about this because let's just go through the whole thing, okay? The drunk makeout sessions. So It's episode 5, okay? All of it happens in 5. So in that episode, it starts with drunk Din falling on top of Rose, then kissing Rose under the guise of being drunk. Then that same episode bookends with drunk Rose topping Din the same way and making out with her, and then she falls asleep. So it's the same thing. In the novel, no drunk kissing happens at all, ever. Okay? In fact, go listen to the book club, because this is actually one of my favorite scenes. The way the writer of this book series loves making fun of drama series for these typical shit they do, and she purposely makes fun of them in her novel, and it's my favorite in her novels. And she did it again in The Water when I read The Water, and it's really funny because she points it out. She's like, yeah, this shit doesn't happen in real life. Like, she constantly does that, and it's really funny. She plays with the tropes. So the series was kind of like, yeah, but we're a drama series, so we're gonna do it kind of thing. So what happens in both, okay, so back to the series. So in both instances, to your point, everybody passes out and like nothing happens beyond making out and being like, I'm drunk. That's why I'm doing this. Sure. Sure, Jan. And I'm with you. I am notoriously not a fan of the drama scene trope with the drunk makeout scenes that border into non-consensual territory. But in this case, I'm less mad about it because I think it makes sense for the characters. Namely because think about Din and Rose in by the time we get to episode 5. So Din and Rose are both extremely nervous about confessing their true feelings, and they have 20 years of history between them, and neither of them have romantic experience. Okay, just think about who you're dealing with here. So it would make sense for them at this stage, okay, to need a drastic removal of their emotional armor before either of them would have the courage to act on their true feelings. So I think a drunken makeout session fits the characters for who they are at that time. What would have not made sense and would have never fit these two characters is if they would have had a drunken hookup, because that does not make sense for either Din or Rose. And I'm very grateful the screenwriters did not decide to go that route. I would have been mad about that. But them drunkenly making out and be like, no, it's just because I'm drunk. Like being idiots about it makes sense because they're dumb and 20 years of history between them, so that makes sense. But like for them to like have sex while they're drunk makes no sense for either of them.
That is fair, especially with like Din. She's always in her head overthinking things.
Correct.
And trying to make sure that Rose is okay. So like it is harder for her to be able to especially act on it because she's probably overthinking in her head. Well, I mean, yeah, we see that she's overthinking, like, does Rose like me? Like, should I even do this? Like, all those things going through her head. So having this, like, drinking to remove her, like, thoughts and just, trying to figure out the right words.
Emotional armor comes down. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Also,
and
like,
give her a little bit of confidence.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I'm not mad at like drunk makeout scenes just in general. Like usually like just that, because like that happens in real life. It's like we get mad. We're like, wow, I can't believe people make out when they're yes, people do that shit when they're drunk because it like it quiets your thoughts and then it like gives you courage you wouldn't have otherwise. Like take Girl Rules for example. It's a great example. You have this like Min, not this like, just skip ahead like 30 seconds if you haven't seen the show and you're planning on it. Like Min, okay, when Min's like doing the photo shoot, she's like, oh, give me some like alcohol that will help me like loosen up, like kind of thing. Cause like that's real. You're just like, I'm in my head. I need to not be in my head. So it makes sense for Din's kind of like that. Like to your point, Din's more introverted. And so she's in her head. Also, another point about the show or a point about Din that is made over and over again is Din cannot communicate well to save her life. Hence the proposal where she's just like, marry me right now with no explanation. And that goes poorly, right? So Din can't communicate. So like she needs help. So like the alcohol was trying to help Din basically because Din is not great at expressing her feelings. It's like it has no experience with this. And so like I like characters like this because they're 30-year-olds trying to figure out how to be in love for the first time and like how to like express their feelings and they fucking can't because she spent 30 years not doing it and so has to figure it out real quick and it gets messy. Like because feelings are hard. No one's helping her with this. She's trying to navigate it on her own. She's kind of a disaster, which makes her endearing, but like, and she's not like malicious about it. She's like very good intention, but she's kind of a disaster sometimes, and it's kind of hilarious. And then you have Rose, who's also doesn't know what she's doing, and is also trying to navigate this with Din, who's like older than her and not helpful. As just, you know, it kind of like made sense, even though like the author made a point to be like, no romantic tropes like this in my novel, please. But then the series is like, we're gonna do it because we're a series.
That's wild though. To be like, nah, we're just gonna ignore that.
They're like, we're just gonna do it. Yeah, it's like, seriously, go read the novel, listen to the book club. For this scene in particular is really funny, the way Salmon wrote it. It was so funny. She made a point to be like, that's not what happens in real life. And then the series is like, we're gonna do it though because we're a drama series and we have tropes to fulfill.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, something else I really love about the series specifically is I thought the casting was on point for the Earth. All the cousins are great, and like that's not we're not going to super focus on all the cousins because this is Din and Rose's story, as I'm not personally. I will talk about them, but like for casting, I specifically want to talk about Din and Rose, so Apple and Min. I thought Apple was perfect for Din. Let's just address the elephant in the room right now. So basically, the OG casting for this was supposed to be Fi and Yoko were supposed to play Din and Rose. And while I believe in them, I like this route better, I think, because I think Apple did an amazing job of leaning into how awkward Din is and making a point to be like, she's a mess. And I thought she did a great job of like playing the endearing, awkward Din, and she did a good job of tapping into Dim's warmth, because that's a huge part of Din that like the author really harps on. And that's something that like in the novel, like you're in Rose's point of view a lot, and like that's what connects her to Din. And so I think that she did a great job of bringing out all the characteristics of Din that are important for Din. I just love how awkward Din is. That's probably one of my favorite parts about it. Din is basically Anksa if she ran a farm. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's Din.
Oh my gosh, Din. Could you imagine, like, they did this, like, mentorship thing, and she has to mentor Anksa and be like, I got nothing. This is how I live my life, too. I would love to see those two characters interact. That would be hilarious. Oh my gosh, no. I don't want to, like, think too much and like talk too much about like what would have been, but like I feel like Din would have come off a little too confident if I was to play Din.
Yeah, or too intense, because Fi is super intense. So that's her greatest strength as an actor, is like that intensity that she has. It's so great, and it's like not many actors can do it. So Din would have been, but Din is intense. Not that Din's not intense, but it would have been fun to actually see her be more comedic as an actor. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah,
honestly. And like I'm saying, if it was the original casting, it still would have been a great show. But I just think that Apple was a really good fit for Din, because she made Din goofy, and Din is goofy, and like she did a good job of like doing all like leaning into like the awkwardness of like Din's flaws that make her lovable.
Her facial expressions were like so awkward too, and
yeah, like she did such a good job with all of that. Because
especially that scene where she like when Rose and her dad go to Bangkok and she's like sneaking around, and then Rose finds her and she has the flower. Just like the slight micro expressions on her face was just like, it's just.
She was so good. She was hilarious.
It was so cute. She is adorable.
She's great.
Rose is, yeah, they both did such a great job.
Yeah, Mim did great too. This was her first acting role, is my understanding. And she did a great job with Rose in showing that Rose is a capable person who is intelligent and also silly. Like Rose has all those qualities too. And I think Mim did a good job bringing that into like highlighting that in Rose. Because those are, again, important character traits for Rose also that kind of foiled in. So they did a good job complementing their acting with each other, which is great, because you have like Apple's like a veteran industry person who, by the way, directed the best pilot ever, which was The Last Case.
Oh my god. Like
I like
Theora told me who Apple was, and I'm just like, I want to bow down to her.
Seriously,
Like,
major artist crush on Apple for fucking directing that. That was one of the best pilots ever. It's so good. It's actually a crime that it didn't get made into a series.
I don't think like it officially got shot down either. I think it might still be like a potential, at least from what I've seen. It was just that she had to go into this project.
Oh.
Well, and like she got thrown into other things.
Because she's too talented.
She's too talented. Oh, no. Yeah.
She is
talented. My gosh. Yeah.
She's directing again. She's going to direct something else that's coming out, like for North Star. I forgot what it was. Another Girl Love series she's directing.
Oh, I would love to talk to her. Oh,
seriously, I would love to pick her brain. She's really brilliant. And honestly, in some scenes, I could tell that she was a director, especially like the Din and Rose's, like, they're sealing their marriage scene at the very end. I could just tell by the way she was acting. I'm like, you've been behind the camera before. Because I can tell by the way you're like positioning yourself and stuff. Like you filmed shit before. Like, she's just really brilliant the way she does stuff. Like, you could tell she has a lot of experience.
Oh my gosh. I love her so much. Yeah, also with that.
She was great for Din. I loved her as Din.
That scene after the wedding, I love that they chose to go intense like that, because it's really been building up. Like, they fully know they're on the same page, and like they want it. And I just love that intensity from the two of them, because it's so different from what we've seen too. Like, this is who they are when they know they can have what they want.
Yes, and again, thank you, Salman, because I love the line from Bros where she's like, "Is this who you really are, Din? You're a thirsty bitch. Like, where'd this come from?" That was from the novel. It's hilarious. Like, the writer of this book does a great job with characterization, which is one of my favorite things. That's probably why I like the story so much. She does a good job of giving like a lot of depth to all of her characters, even side characters. Like, they all are very three-dimensional. What was I gonna say? I lost it. I had a thought, but it's gone now.
Okay. Going back to Mim real quick. She, for a first project too, like, I would not have caught that, because she has like the ugly cry down. And I don't mean that she looks ugly, but her crying is full body emotion, like snot coming down her nose. She's crying that hard.
It's intense.
Like, the tears are dripping off her chin. Like, I don't know what place she had to put herself in to get that emotion. And I kind of hope that they filmed both hospital scenes where she's crying like that back to back, so she didn't have to do that multiple days, because that is a lot. And just seeing the raw emotion on her face, and she did that in multiple scenes, not even just in the hospital.
Yeah,
like when she's crying at night and she won't eat, like she did it there too. Like, I'm in awe of that, because crying is hard on command like that.
Yeah. Especially when you're brand new. Like,
yeah. And like, I'm sure she felt like she had to prove something to people too, because it's her first project.
Yeah.
She nailed it. That emotion, that takes talent.
Yeah, like, she must have felt a lot of pressure, especially because, like, in this particular model, like the Tiger Olive industry, it's like ships or what matters. So it's like you also have to sell the ship hard, or that's how you get projects. So not only is the pressure on because you've never done this before, but then it's like you also really have to sell this partnership you're just entering for the first time. Especially in a huge project, like this is a huge project, like in the Girl Love industry, like the 4 elements. And you're the first one, like they're the first element. Like, so like, yeah, there's also been a lot riding on poor Mim to like do this. She killed it though, like not poor.
She really did.
Like, that must have been a lot of pressure.
Oh, I'm so proud of both of them, because they did such a great job.
Absolutely love them. Din and Rose in particular, I absolutely love. So their tropes are the childhood friends to fake wives to real wives trope, I guess. So they had a lot of childhood flashbacks, and I think the way they did them in the series were super cute. Like, little Din and the prince outfit was the fucking cutest thing ever.
Little Din and little Rose were just the cutest ever. It wouldn't be me if I didn't bring up the child actors too, so I'm glad you did it. for me.
You're welcome.
Because they are the cutest little things
They're so
in the
cute.
world, and they embody the older versions.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, some of Little Rose's facial expressions, like, are the same as adult Rose.
Cute.
It was the cutest little thing, and oh my god, they're so cute. Anyway, they did a phenomenal job at like and like baby Din when she's running with her arms like literally hanging
like,
down
awkwardly as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, you made Din awkward, and it is awkward. It is super awkward, and she always was. Yeah, no, they did a very good job. Like, they were very cute flashbacks. Absolutely loved it. Okay,
and, like,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just something we keep talking about how like they knew each other in childhood, and how like that's usually the thing that happens. Like they always have a history. I didn't mind it in this show because they had that such a big gap too, so they had to relearn each other. So it's kind of like they didn't fully know each other from a young age, but that foundation was still there.
Well, the key is foundation. So where I have an issue with this is we knew each other as children trope is when it's like I saw like Pluto. I saw you once. We had one conversation for 30 seconds and I was hung up on you for 20 years. That is not Din and Rose. Din and Rose legitimately knew each other for years. Like it's not like it was a fleeting I saw you once thing. No, they actually like spent time together. They embody a lot of old school romantic tropes. Like Rose is literally the girl next door. Like, you know what I mean? It was very much like we're both from powerful families and like we're the heirs to these like farm estates. Like they have a lot of like sweepingly romantic tropes built into them that makes their story like this really epic 20-year saga kind of thing, and it all fits together. It makes sense for them like because of all the tropes they embody.
Yeah. And just yeah. I loved seeing the foundation, and I like that they gave us so many of those scenes too, especially to reinforce that Wasu has also always been an asshole.
Yep.
With the way that he was trying to force Rose onto a boat, and like glad that memory came back to her, because if she wasn't sure that she chose right before, she definitely chose right then, because he's like, your dad told me it was okay, and Din's like, no, he told me to never let Rose on a boat. So she's not going on the damn boat. She didn't say that. She's a child. Anyway. And then the dad comes and he's like, I did tell Din not to let Rose on a boat because she's not a good swimmer. So like that just reinforces that decision for Rose to believe Din. And yeah, it was a great scene to parallel it.
Yeah, that's a really good scene. Back to their tropes, though. Something that my favorite trope that they embody is the fake dating trope. I'm a sucker for that trope. And the reason is because in order for the fake dating trope to be executed perfectly, it requires the characters to operate at peak dumbass at all times. And they did. And it just leads to shenanigans that are just so funny. And so I was very, very happy about that.
Oh yeah, the fake dating to
great.
Real feelings,
my favorite,
is wonderful, especially when you get the cousins involved. And yeah, it's not their story, so we won't harp too much on them. But boy, did they bring in some chaos to this story in particular, especially with is it Lom or Lom? Okay, with Lom saying, like, telling Din that she should marry Rose, but she left out the part conveniently to explain to Rose why she wants to marry her. And I loved that scene, first of all, with Din proposing without explaining why. She's just like, will you marry me? Like, what the hell is Rose supposed to think? Like, my best friend is asking me to marry them right now. And then like who
out of nowhere.
Probably like, yeah, out of nowhere. With, like she probably doesn't realize her feelings yet, but they're probably still in the back of her head too. So she's like, oh my God. But again, out of nowhere. And then I love the scene with Lam is like, you dumbass. And like she tells her that she shouldn't talk to her first because it's only Din could have done something like this of not being like, hey, I have this plan. No, I'm just, will you marry me? It's insane.
It is insane. It's great. I have stuff about the cousins, but I want to wrap up my thoughts about Din and Rose first. But yeah, I agree. That scene was just hilarious because Din can't communicate. And then there's your best example of that. But just in general, I think that Din and Rose were incredibly sweet as a couple. Like they're a very green flag couple, which is sweet. And back to the communication. So one thing I do like about them is their communication as a couple improved as the story goes on, right? So to your point, that example, it really, a lot of the reason why Din doesn't explain is because she's bad at it, first of all. But second of all, at that time in the story, Din's inability to communicate her like full truth is really tied to the secretiveness going on about like the human trafficking stuff that she's trying to keep Rose out of. The same way Rose's dad was doing it, right? But also like their inability to communicate as a couple, it is tied into the human trafficking stuff that Rose doesn't learn about till much later. But also it's tied into the fact that Din is an awkward mess sometimes, and just like that proposal scene. But if you notice, as Din starts to get more in touch with her feelings for Rose, she actively works on her communication, and it ultimately makes them a stronger couple. Because like Rose is constantly being like, no, Din, you have to fucking actually tell me how you feel about shit, because otherwise it's gonna cause problems. And I love that Rose specifically points that out. She's like, because like at one point, I think on the honeymoon, the fake one, she's like, what do you want to do, Din? And Din's like, whatever you want to do, Rose. And she's like, but Din, what do you want to do? And she's like, I like what you like, Rose. And Rose is like, girl, if you don't fucking tell me what you actually want and just give me what I want all the time, like you're gonna resent me eventually, and I don't want that. So like you need to fucking be honest. So I love that Rose is a therapist sometimes to Din, and is like, girl, no. Like she pushes back, like, and I think that ultimately helps them, because Din is all too eager to just people please for everybody. Because Din is Earth. She's Mother Earth. She's just the nurturing one. She's this ultimate like support person. But like Rose is like forces Din to be like, Din, what do you want? Because you actually have to answer that question. You can't just live for everybody else. Like you have to like tap into what you want sometimes. And that's how you get like the sexy scene at the end where she's like, whoa, Din, what is all this? It's like, yeah, Din's going after what she actually wants in that scene. And that's probably the biggest, like, and it's a stark contrast of Din being greedy versus Din being selfless, which is all the time. So, and it's a good juxtaposition because like balance is important. You know what I mean?
Yes. But yeah, I loved that as well, with Rose being like, no, tell me, or else you're going to resent it if you keep just doing what I want. That's a good point, and something good to show too. Like, yeah, there's some compromise in relationships where you do what the other partner wants, but you have to take what you want as well, or else you're living for someone else and not for yourself either.
Yeah. And that conversation is from the novel. Like that's Salmon characterizing Din and Rose. And it was, again, very strong character author. That's all I have for Din and Rose. I don't know if you have anything else for Din and Rose. My next point is about the cousins.
I just have another scene that I loved between the two of them.
Do it.
And it's when Din is showing Rose the vegetable farm. And she's like, our vegetables are so clean, you can just eat right off of it. You can eat it right as you pick it. And Rose is like, oh, yeah, there's a big caterpillar on the leaf. Yeah. And so like they crouch down to try and find this caterpillar. And like they both, Din's looking for the caterpillar and Rose looks to Din and it looks like they're about to kiss. And then Din starts panicking and eats a leaf.
Eats lettuce
instead.
or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Din's an idiot.
And I just again, it's her facial expressions too. She has
so
them
funny.
down, and it's just
She's
so
good.
goofy, and I
She's
love
so
it
good.
so much.
Such a good actor. She's so funny.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I will die on the hill that she's perfect for Din. She's a perfect Din. She's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so the Chaos Cousins. Absolutely love them. You're right. This wouldn't be the Four Elements without the Four Elements, and they're a whirlwind. Do you have anything you want to say about them? I want to talk about like a specific scene and stuff with them.
Just go ahead. Okay.
So the thing I love about them in the series specifically is that every scene with the cousins in it was slightly different from the novel, but not in a bad way at all. In fact, most scenes in which the cousins were in it were even funnier than they were in the novel. And the novel is funny. Like, they're absolutely chaotic and really fucking funny. And I appreciate this story because it's not just, in general, because it's not just the romantic couple that is the main star. There's a family element to it, which is missing from a lot of Thai girl love novels, to be series, to be quite honest. Like, and so it's nice when they're in there. And this one's a really strong, solid family, and they just keep showing up and just like causing chaos and like in a lovable way. And I think it's probably the best thing about this whole series is the family element that's very central to the story, even though it's not central because like Din and Rose's love story is the central story, but like it wouldn't be the same without the family. The family is like really the backbone of the whole thing. And okay, so back to the fact that a lot of the scenes in the series are even funnier than the original. And I will say my absolute favorite is Phi and Nam's first appearance. Is probably my favorite. It's the most different and is just chaotic as fuck. So when they first show up, Phi and Nam roll up on a rig attached to a motorcycle because they have to go find Din and Rose in the middle of the fields, right? And when you get the first shot of them, Phi is fearless as fuck on this rickety fucking sidecar thing, right? And that makes sense because she's the fire, so she's like wild. But Nam, just go back and look at Nam in this scene. Nam, the super serious hotel heiress, is like on this rickety sidecar, and she looks so freaking uncomfortable, like riding on this thing, because in what universe does she get on a very unsafe looking like sidecar? Like, so okay, so how does she get on this thing? Like, okay, she had to have agreed to this because one, Phi was freaking out, and so she's like, okay, I'll get on this thing for you. But also, like, her and Phi thought Din was in danger. So it speaks to who Nam is as a person that she got on this thing for her family. So that tells you a lot about Nam and the water, right then and there. Because, like, again, go watch it. She looks freaked out to be on this fucking thing. Or is Phi's like ready to fight everyone in the scene? Okay, so then they roll up on this rickety thing. Phi is the first one off of it, and then marches up to them and demands to marry Rose out of never met this woman and demands to marry Rose out of nowhere. Then Din is confused that Phi and Nam are even here. She's like, when did you guys get here? Like, which happens a lot. And then Din's trying to process what is going on. Meanwhile, this is the different part. Lam swoops in and then uses weaponized hugging to silence Phi, which is really fucking funny. And then meanwhile, Nam finally shows up and just stands there awkwardly. And it's like, welcome to the family, Rose. This is the family you're marrying into. They're all crazy. Like, what an introduction for these characters and for Rose, who's meeting them for the first time. It was funny. And so chaotic.
It was a great introduction to the dynamic that you'll see throughout this show and the other series between the cousins. Because first of all, I love that they just show up out of the blue randomly because they're that close. I would love to have a family like that. I'm sure it gets annoying for them because we see how it gets annoying because they even interrupt Din trying to be with Rose.
I'm sure do.
Which is hilarious too. But like that dynamic between all of them is just so funny, chaotic, but loving. You can tell they love each other so much and that they would do anything for each other. like Nom getting on this death trap that she probably thinks it is.
Yes, she definitely does, but she doesn't. Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, like, yeah, your point is very valid. But with the novel, like a lot of what happens in the novel is like a lot of like bantering. So a lot of the bantering scenes with them does come from the novel. But like the way this was acted out with like Lom like silencing Fi, that was like just in the series. So like they took like the bantering and then they expanded on it and made it even funnier, because to your point, you get to see their individual dynamic, their group dynamic. You have more like body comedy happening with them. It was really fun. Like I knew that scene was gonna be funny, but then watch it and I was like, this is somehow funnier than it already was. So like, thank you to the series for like leaning into how funny the family dynamic is. And to your point, showing how comfortable they are with it. Because Vi is ready to throw hands with everyone in that scene. And then Lom's just like, shh. And it does calm her down. Like, it works. Like, she knows how to neutralize the little fire that's going off. Like, so it does show you that, like, she wasn't mad trying to fight Lom. Like, it just goes to show you, like, how they, like, balance each other out. I just love Nom being awkward. She's just, like, standing there. She's the most awkward out of all of it. Like, if you think Din's awkward, wait till the water gets going, because Nom is the most awkward out of all of them. And so she's just like standing there like, I don't understand any of this and I don't know how to be a human. Like, it's just, they're all so funny. And then Din's like, don't worry, Fi's really a nice person. And she's like trying to fight Lom in the background. And like, it's just like, to imagine being Rose in that scene. And you're just like, what is happening? Like, who are all these people? And they're just a lot.
This is slightly random, but it's ironic that Lom was able to calm Fi down, because air usually makes fire worse. Calm it down.
And I think it does. So if I had to rank like the chaoticness of the cousins, the least chaotic is Nom, because like water is calm. She's calm water specifically. Then you have Din, who's the stable earth. Okay, so she's the least chaotic, but she is chaotic, and it comes from her awkwardness. Her awkwardness makes her chaotic, like in like a golden retriever kind of way. Mm-hmm. Then I don't know Lom and Fi the best, but I'm pretty sure Lom is next as like in terms of most chaotic. And then the most chaotic, I'm assuming, is Fi. Like, so those two are the most chaotic. So yeah, it is funny. So like, how does she calm her down? With more chaos? Like, she's like, let me just strangle you a little. I'm going to weaponize some hugging and make you stop. And it works.
Oh my gosh. No, the physicality from Lom is amazing. I love all her choices. Freen's choices that, like,
she's so funny.
Make that character 1,000 times better. I love her so much. It's my favorite Freen character. I'm saying that now. I haven't even seen the show yet. That character is my favorite of hers because she portrays it so well. She's able to have a lot more emotion with this character as well. So
yeah, she's not repressed like Pin was, or Sam.
And she's able to have fun.
Yeah, I've always said that Freen is would be such a great comedian. And I've been, my dream role is like her and Fi acting in a fucking comedy together, which we almost had with the Earth, but whatever. Like, she's a hilarious like actor. So I'm really glad, I'm with you. I'm glad she's finally in a role where she gets to be funny, because she is a good comedian. So I'm very glad she got to like showcase all of that and just go off with Lom, because she's fucking funny. Like, give her more comedy roles. She kills this. She's fucking funny, like, as hell. Like, I love her. She has good comedic timing, comedic choices. Like, she's great. The little finger gun thing where she like stabs Din, like at the first episode. Din's like, Mom, how do you? She's like, back off, bitch. Like, that was one of the funniest. I don't know how much of this was scripted, or they just like let her do whatever. Because
I would love to see the script to see how, like what physicality stuff is scripted and what is just them playing,
just doing whatever. Yeah,
because it looks like they were able to play.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think a lot of it was improv, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited that we get to keep seeing this dynamic over their 3 more series, because it just makes my heart happy, because we're not just losing them.
Yes, I agree. And then with each series, you get the wives get added in. So like the family gets bigger, which is funny. One thing I will say about the cousins that I think in the series, I think the writers did a very good job of balancing the guest appearances with the cousins while focusing primarily on Rose and Din, because it is their story. Especially because Apple and Mim were a new acting pair. And so to be like, have too much of the big juggernaut actors like Ingfa and Freen in it did not take away from their like Apple and Mim's acting. I like showcasing their characters. So I'm glad they did that. They found a good balance. I think that it helps because like being in the fandom, like it didn't pick up until Freen shows up. And then people are like, Lom and Freen, and like, yeah. So that helps skyrocket the show, but they didn't do it too much. And I was worried that they were going to overshadow like the actual main actors and like the main story, and they didn't.
Like they could have been like, oh, let's write more scenes for them.
Right.
To
increase popularity. Right. They could have very easily done that.
But they didn't even have them in there for until episode 3. And that was a great decision to let Apple and Mim just breathe on their own and become their own people that we get introduced to in this show. And I agree. It was they sprinkled it enough. I'm surprised that they were in it as much as they were, actually, though. Not Apple and Mim.
No, I mean, that goes back to the novel. So in the novel, Lom is very much involved with the human trafficking storyline. So like it did follow. Lom was in it in the first one of the earlier scenes. So I am surprised they didn't have her show up earlier because again, the fandom did not start getting active really until Freen showed up. So I'm honestly surprised they didn't put her in there earlier, but they did like the reveal of her on the motorcycle and being like, what the fuck took you so long? He did such an asshole in that scene. It's really funny. But yeah, so it's true to the novel, the way they did it. Speaking of cousins, one of my last point about the cousins is that one of my favorite relationships in the whole of the story is Fi and Rose's relationship. They probably are my favorite relationship in all of the 4 elements because the way it starts is just chaotic. And then like once it clicks for Fi that like Rose is very serious about Din and like loves Din the way she does, she's like, okay, yeah, I love her forever. And then Fi is like her #1 fan like the whole time. And like so much so that I'm like, do you love her more than Din? Because there's one part where I think it was the last episode where Din's like, I don't know where Rose is, and Fi's with her, and Fi's like, oh yeah, she's here. Like she knows where Rose is at all times, like more than Din, and it's just so funny because she's always keeping tabs on Rose. And I really think that like her and Rose are like best friends, and you really can't convince me otherwise, just because the way Fi always knows where Rose is and what she's doing. I think their relationship is really funny and cute, and I like when they gang up on Din.
I mean, yes, that's always fun. But I think that also just shows how much she has accepted her into the family because she's truly protective of her. Like she needs to know where she is at all times. So nothing bad can happen to her. So I feel like that has just continued even after like the danger was eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah. It also helps that they're of similar ages. Because like having read The Water, like Fi doesn't bond with like Nom's wife the way she does with Rose. Like she loves Rose. Like she calls her boss Rose like all the time. Like still like it's so fucking funny. Like they're just their dynamic is really funny. And I like that again in the series they played into there's a scene where they're ganging up on Din and like Rose and Fi are like conspiring right in front of Din, like and being playful with each other. And I'm glad they put that in there because yeah, their friendship is really funny and sweet. And I really like that they put that in there because the way it starts off is chaotic, but then like they end up being very good friends. All right. Last section I have is just like a collection of scenes that went down differently than the novel. I don't know if you have any other points you'd like to bring up.
I have just like a scene and then a half a point. My half point is that I'm because it's rare still, I want to give props to the dad who wanted his daughter to be with whoever she wanted. Because
yes,
so often we still get this. We are seeing more of like the parents being like, no, you do what you want to do, but we still get the no, you will marry this person and that. But the dad really cared about what his daughter wanted and what would make her happy. And that made me happy to see. And I just love that. So props to him. And it was never a
Rose's dad, you mean?
yes, Rose's dad. And also something is like it was never an issue that there was two women wanting to be together. It was the issue was just that Din, like with Wasu and his family, it wasn't the issue that there was two women. It was that it's Din and like he just wants to be with Rose because of the land.
Yes.
So I like that was it. It wasn't the two women aspect of it. And then the scene that I want to talk about is with Modang, actually. And
love Modang. Just in general.
I love Modang. Especially with the way that she sent, quote, modest pajamas
for
Rose
the lingerie she gets Rose. She's such an idiot.
Before I get into the scene, I did have a question. Did Modang ever, like, when did they tell Modang that the wedding was fake? Because we just see her at the second wedding, but I don't think we ever see her find out that the wedding was
I don't think they ever tell everybody that it's fake, to be honest. I don't know that they
just get married again.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, like, Rose's dad wasn't at the original wedding. So it could very easily that they're just like, well, we're going to redo it so that Rose's dad is here. Because, like, he was, like, surrogate dad to Din and then, like, actual dad to Rose. So it could be that that's just what they told people. Because they never dissolved the marriage contract. The marriage contract is in place the whole fucking time. Like, they don't actually get divorced and they get married. Like, they just do the separation thing. And then, which was done better in the novel, by the way. And then they, just have another ceremony where Rose's dad gets to be there. And in the novel specifically, they're like, it was literally just like the cousins and like the dad. It wasn't this big, there wasn't a ton of people. I feel like in the novel, they're just like wrap up party, everyone's here. But that is not what they did in the novel. They're just like, we're going to do this for us. And so that like our families are here watching us get married for real. So I don't think they ever told anybody else that like that was a fake marriage.
I just feel like out of everybody, Modang deserved to know. Fair that she is a big mouth though. Like she would have told other people.
100%, which is why you can't tell her.
But like she's so close with them that I feel like she deserves to know that that's what was going on. But then I feel like she'd be hurt too. So it's like a catch-22 if you tell her. But I don't know. I just kind of wish she knew. And I wish we got that scene. They could have been like, all right, the wedding's fake. She's like, what do you mean? You don't actually like each other? And then like she's panicking and then they're like, no, we're actually together still.
There's no way Modang would believe that because she's like, you guys have been in love with each other for years. Yeah. She clocked them immediately. She's like,
that's not true. Like you guys love each other.
Right, exactly. Which was true. So.
But one of my favorite Modang scenes is when Rose and her dad and Modang are in Bangkok. And that scene again with Din trying to like come and give food and like Modang has to pretend like she won the lottery.
That was crazy.
And the fact that Modang spends her own money on Rose to show her like how much she like loves her and like appreciates her is so sweet when you know like Rose could just afford it.
I know. There's power imbalance there.
Yeah, but like Modang being that sweet is adorable. All right, but in the scene, Rose and Din are like both trying to give each other quote time. And I love the way when Modang is like, what a gentlewoman. And you are also trying to give her time. Miss Rose wants to give you time. And then she gets all serious. It's such a waste of time, miss.
Yeah.
And I just love how she's like tells it like it is to Din. She's like, I'm sick of this. You guys need to just get together, figure your shit out because you are supposed to be together. the time, giving each other time is a waste of time because you don't need time. You're like destined for each other, something like that.
Yeah, no, that conversation is not in the novel, and I'm glad they put it in there because if you watch that scene when Modang's like, "Oh, you're such a gentlewoman, Din." Din's like puffs her chest out. She's like, "Yes, I am." She's trying to be the gentlewoman, and then Modang's like, "But by not talking, you're not resolving this. So then, when are you going to resolve this? Because you're both avoiding each other because you respect each other, but then nothing is happening. So like, go fucking talk." That's what she's saying. She's like, "Go talk. You guys need to talk to resolve this, but no one's talking. So this is a waste of time." Yeah, I thought that was really great because it does go down a little bit differently in the novel. Which again, check out the book club for that because it's either scenario is funny, but it's just different the way it goes down. But I'm glad that Modane got to put that in there because like that is the character flaw of like being too chivalrous that she's pointing out, and then being too considerate. She's like, you guys need to like balance each other out by talking because otherwise you're just avoiding each other by being too considerate of the other person. And then it's like avoidance, which is the flip side of that, right? So yeah, that was a great scene. I'm glad Modang said that. But just Din was so funny because she's like, "Yeah, you're complimenting me," and then Din, Modang's like, "You're being an idiot by doing this." Din's like, "Damn, that's so stupid." I love Din. She's so stupid, but in an endearing way. Oh yeah, I have one more point before I get into other scenes. One thing I thought was really funny, like ironic funny, is that Rose makes this huge point of being like, "I'm a modern woman. I'm not," because like remember when they get married in the beginning and Modang, or she's thinking of marrying Din or whatever, and Modang's like, "Oh, if you don't love her now, you love her eventually." That's like kind of what marriage is sometimes. And Rose is like, "I'm a modern woman. I'm a Gen Z, Modang. I need to be loved first." So she's like, "I'm not old fashioned at all." And then she marries Din. Din is the most old fashioned person. Din, the woman who's like, "I can't have sex with you until your dad agrees to let me marry you." I'm like, that's who you end up with. And then she's like being like, "I'm a modern woman." And like, Din is not a modern person. Din's very old. Din's like a very old school, like chivalrous, like type of person. And like, that's who Rose falls in love with. And she's like, "I'm a modern woman." I'm like, okay, Rose, are you though? Are you, Rose? It just makes me funny because it's like everything about Rose is very traditional. It's not actually modern. Like Rose is like the housewife that brings Din lunch on her lunch break, and Din's the breadwinner. Like they fit traditional like roles, and then so it just makes me laugh that that's what Rose is saying. I'm pretty sure Modang rolls her eyes at that. She's like, "Okay, Rose, sure." You should look in the mirror, girl. Okay. All right. Other scenes that went down differently than the novel that were either enhanced or I thought were kind of funny. So Din and Rose's accidental first kiss. Okay. So this happened at the wedding. We all remember when Din passes out. So this does not happen. Okay. So in both the series and the novel, the way it goes down is they get married, they're standing up there, and then Modang and the cousins, in fact, instigate the kiss chanting, leaving Din and Rose at this altar or whatever, being like, "What do we do?" And Din, of course, if Din freezes in both instances because she does not know what to do, because they didn't think this part of the wedding through, apparently. And in the novel, Rose is the one that takes charge, and she's like, "I guess I have to do something because Din's useless." And so she kisses Din on the cheek in the novel and leaves a lipstick print, which comes up in the novel a bunch of times. And in the series, it happens the same way where Rose is like, "I guess I have to take action because Din's useless." And then she goes to kiss Din on the cheek, but then Din awkwardly moves her head at the last second, and then they accidentally kiss each other, which leads to big gay panic, and so much so that Din passes out. And then it's hilarious though because the cousins rush to Din. Some of them are laughing, be like, "She's an idiot," and then Fi is screaming, "Don't die, Din!" And like, so the way they acted it out was actually pretty funny, but like that is not what happened. But it was really fucking funny the way they chose to execute this. So I'm not mad at this change. It actually is. Again, the scenes with the cousins they somehow made funnier than they originally were, and this was a great example. Fi screaming "Don't die, Din" was one of the funniest. Fucking, and the Rose is just laughing. She's like, "I married this fucking idiot." Look at this. I did that.
She's like, "I did this.
I did this. I made her pass out." So fucking funny. Okay. I went over the drunk makeout sessions. Other thing is their honeymoon. So after that, when the fake honeymoon at Nom's resort, most of that was brand new. So like the massage lesson, that whole thing where Din's like basically motorboarding Rose during the massage, that was hysterical. I don't know who chose to do that, but that was ridiculous. That whole scene, the massage lesson
was so ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous. Din was so funny in that scene. That was crazy. What a funny scenario. Like, I feel like they're just like, what could they do that would be ridiculous? And honestly, that was a funny choice. They did not do that in the book.
Whoever came up with that was a genius, because
so
I would have
funny.
never thought for that to be a lesson.
That was so fucking funny. Other thing that was different, that was not ridiculous but really sweet, was the fireworks, where Din arranges the fireworks. And I thought that was really first of all, you're in visual media, so like that was great. Like you can do that and it comes across really well visually, but also like it was just a very sweet gesture, and again, a good visualization for us and Rose of just like how much Din cares about Rose, because like Din ultimately was like, I want you to have fun and make this a good memory regardless of what the outcome is with this whole marriage thing. Like, I want you to have fun and enjoy yourself. And like she goes through all of these efforts like to make sure that that happened with literal fireworks. Like, I really like that. All right, and my last one is when Din confesses to her cousins that she likes Rose for real.
Sorry, I love that scene.
It's a great scene. What was it went pretty similarly. What was different in the novel is that Nom's also there when this happens. So in the series, it's just Fi and Lam. And I think that really comes down to the Waters filming schedule, and like Ingfa's busy. Ingfa's always busy. So like I think they just couldn't get her, which is a shame, because during that scene in the novel, she says one of the fucking funniest lines in the history of this book series. And like, it's a shame she wasn't there, but it's like not a huge deal, because like Freen's fucking funny, and like so they did it very similarly, but like Nom was missing, and I was like, damn, man, I'm not gonna get my favorite line because she's not here. But not a huge deal, but still very, very funny. So I love them giving Din. I love when Din's like, do you not approve? They're like, no, Din, we can all see it from space, girl. Like, you're the only one that didn't know.
We knew that that fake wedding wasn't a fake one.
Exactly. Amazing.
Such an amazing show.
It was an amazing, amazing show. And one thing I like about the story, that it comes from the novel, but like they did it in the series too, was like, I think Salman did a good job of like advertising the next book in the book. And so I like at the end with the wedding where like Nom gets the bouquet. First of all, Nom being herself, who's like on a work call, not paying attention to Dim's wedding. And then like Lam's like, and like throws the bouquet at her. And like, it's a great, and they do the thing where they linger on Nom and she's looking at the flowers being like, So Salmon did a good job of just being like, next time on the 4 Elements, it's Nom. Like, I like the way she kind of like sets up her next novel, like very sneakily. It's good advertising. And I'm glad the show did that too, because it makes people curious to be like, what is her story going to be like? This looks like a disaster. You're right.
Yeah,
it does, doesn't it? It sure does.
Oh my gosh. It's so good. So good.
It's a really great show. I think it's very rewatchable. It's very sweet. And like you said, we don't get more seasons, but we do continue the story with the next cousin, and we'll get guest appearances from characters we already know and love. And I think that's probably the best thing about this. And that's probably the best thing about the book series, because you keep like, we're doing the Chow Planoy novels, and you'd have like, oh, there's Big Nung again, like just showing up in other stories, which is fun because you already know the character. And that's my favorite part of having multiple series in a television show. It's my favorite part about having book trilogies. You already know the characters, you're invested, and you get to see them again. So I like that. I'm hoping this model sticks, where we can get more things where there's interconnectivity, and like you get the same actors too.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like, my favorite part about this especially is that we get the same actor playing the character, whereas before it was like different actors playing same characters, which was fine, but because like that's fine, it's believable still, but I really enjoy getting to know the character and the person playing the character and their mannerisms and just following that and just having these like little crossovers with each series, even though it's like a set, like a standalone story itself. Just having that personality come in and out is just,
it's better continuity is the thing.
Yeah.
And thank you, North Star, for doing this, honestly, because Idol Factory fucked you over. And you're killing it. It's going well so far.
It is.
All right. I think that's all we got for why we love the not the 4 elements, why we love the Earth specifically. So before we jump into our listener comments, Big Gay Energy Awards. So what gets your Big Gay Energy Award for the Earth?
I'm gonna give it a Big Gay Chaotic Energy Award because I'm gonna give it to Din fainting after the kiss at the wedding.
Was amazing. Yeah, that was great. Din is an idiot. I fucking love Din so much. That was great. I'm gonna give my Big Gay Energy Award to Din and Rose for separate reasons. So first, we'll start with Rose. So drunk Rose topping Din and then using Din's words against her, where she says, "If anything happens, let's just say it's because I'm drunk." Like that was big gay energy. She used the words right back at her, which is great. And for Din, it's girlfriend Din literally stealing watermelon from Rose's mouth when she was kissing her. That had a lot of big gay energy. That scene right there, like, where did you learn how to do that? That was amazing.
Seriously,
where did you learn that?
That is a great question.
How did Din know how to do? Damn, big gay energy. Lesbian Jesus was speaking to her. That's all. There's no other explanation.
Mom was like, "Here's some tips for the future."
Oh my god, yeah. Lesbian Jesus is basically Lam, so yeah, that tracks. What Taylor Swift song do you have for the Earth?
All right, I picked Safe and Sound for this show.
All right.
And because so I picked that song because of Din always protecting Rose. And like, yes, Rose is capable, but she always wants to be like, "Don't worry, like I'm here, I will protect you."
That's true.
Like, especially in the song, it's like, "Just close your eyes, the sun is going down, you'll be all right, no one can hurt you now, come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound." So like, if they're together, they're safe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then like there's literally a war going on outside, and
yeah,
there's so much shit going on.
Unfortunately, that tracks. All right, that's a good one. I'm gonna give it to Today Was a Fairy Tale because I think that encapsulates their 20-year history, especially the lines, "You were the prince, Din. I used to be the damsel in distress," so that's baby Rose, baby Din. Nothing made sense till the time I saw your face. Today was a fairy tale. That's kind of like coming back into the present. And then time slows down whenever you're around. I feel like that's Din and Rose a lot of the time, where like they're kind of like they get hyper focused on each other and like the rest of the world drowns out. That's very Din and Rose. That's why the cousins can always sneak up on them and be like, "You guys are idiots."
That's how their relationship progressed within 2 months, because time slowed down whenever they're together.
Exactly. So I think that's it's very like peak romance song, and that's definitely their story. It's very peak romance.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Okay, so before we get into listener comments, we're going to take a break to give some shout outs to our Chaos Crew over on Patreon. Woo! Our Chaos Crew members on the Big Gay Ride or Die tier and above are Amix Monzone_multi, and Andres, BJR, Brianna H, Caroline R, Danny, Isla, Here For It, JP, Jasmine O, Jill L, Cassie M, Kelsey S, Kenzie, Leona, Michelle G, Monet F, Moving Forward Leading, Nancy D, Pooja S, Regina B, and Sarah B. Woo! And our featured Big Gay supporter members for this episode are Shima B, Christina T, and Naya, or Nia, but I think it's Naya.
Either way, thank you.
Support. Thank you so much for all of your support, and thank you to everyone watching or listening to this right now just by watching, listening to this podcast, you are supporting us. If you want to support us a little more and you can't join Patreon, that's totally fine. If you just share this episode with somebody, like if you can, subscribe, follow, do whatever you can on the platform that you are watching or listening to this right now, that would be amazing. If you are listening to this and want to leave a review, you could do that on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, wherever you can leave a review. That would be beneficial as well. And you can also let us know feedback, if what you want us to cover and like what should we do on the podcast. That's where you should leave it. Anyway, also come join our Discord, where you can talk to us and other queer media lovers about 4Elements and all the stuff going on right now, because there's so much coming out and there are a bunch of people over there just excited to scream about it with other people who love it as well.
Yeah, go make some friends and have some fun. That's what this is all about.
Yep. All right, now let's get into listener comments.
All right, let's start with Patreon. So first up, we have Raina W, who writes, "This show really surprised me. Apple and Mim really knocked it out of the park. I loved seeing their chemistry grow with each episode. I loved how the show slowly built their relationship. Also, how they weaved in the cousins. I love how the show showcases the love of family. Especially when it's all queer women. It's so rare to see. That's so true. They are all really gay, and it's lovely.
I love that all the cousins are queer.
All of them are super gay.
All of them.
All of them.
All right, next comments from Cassie M. And they said, "It's an all-around well-made girl love with locations that have not been filmed to death already. And under Fuse's direction, both newcomers like Mim and veterans shine, especially the cousins, which we'll also see in the other elements, bring chaotic fun to the series. Din is the gold standard of a useless lesbian. And Rose was actually cheeky and liked to tease Din a lot. As I like The Water and the Air, the novels, even more, I'm looking forward to those series as well. My favorite character is Modang, the ultimate shipper, with Lam and Phi closely behind her. It's still early in the year, but The Earth is currently my #1 Thai girl love of 2026. That is fair to say.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I will say my gold standard for useless lesbian is Ongsa still. I think Ongsa's more useless than Din. Din's at least capable. She shows up with a weapon to like defend Rose. I don't think Ongsa's doing that.
Ongsa would probably end up getting human trafficked, honestly.
Yes, I think Ongsa would have gotten human trafficked a long time ago.
She would have answered the ad for the job.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Totally unaware of anything.
She would have gotten in there and be like, "Oh fuck," or she'd like go to save Rose and crash the car by accident. Like, I think Ongsa's worse, but you know, I love Din. Din's definitely up there. She's pretty useless.
She would have hit Wasu's car.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Oh shit,
crazy." I love Ongsa. Ongsa, you little legend out there. See that show 23.5 has stood the test of time. That's all I'm saying. That means it's a good show. All right, next up we have Zori M, who writes about why they love the Earth. It had everything: action, romance, and comedy. Yes. I like that the villains actually got their comeuppance and the subtle symbolisms in the show. For example, when Rose's father says that a rose will protect themselves when they sense danger, and then in later episode, Cal was picking up a rose and it pricked her, suddenly telling us that she is the mole. Oh, damn, that was good.
Damn.
Good catch, Zori. Damn.
Oh, shit. Damn. Huh. That's really good. Great job, Zori.
Good job, Patreon. Way to be better at this than we are. Good job.
Yeah. All right. Next comment is from K Yoshi. And they said, "I loved everything about it. Solid plot, terrific acting, plenty of drama, a little too much at times, but still pretty good. The chaos cousins, and most of all, Din's character. Interaction between all the characters was great, and it's beautifully shot. Just a joy to watch. I'll miss it."
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful show, period. That was a good point.
Beautiful.
All right. Then we got amixmonzone_multi, who writes, "Because we love characters with actual survival instincts." That's so true. They do have survival instincts. Yes. I love Rose's fierce personality, especially in contrast to the dork that is Din. Yeah, it does make them a fun couple, Amix. That's a really good point. And then Amix continues, plus, ... the Chaos Cousins. Yeah, how do you not love them? Also, we love a supportive father. Yeah, all of those are facts you're just saying.
Mm-hmm. All right, next is from White Cat 112, who says, because we got the Fi yelling P Dim meme.
Yep. Actually, honestly, the show is very memeable, and don't die, Din. Iconic behavior. Thank you, White Cat. Next up, we have Q432, who writes, Salmon has created a great story. Facts. And the show adopted it beautifully. Production team did a great job in scouting locations that leads us into newer side of Thailand landscape. Yeah, we got to see the north, which was nice. Although Apple and Mim were last to join the Four Elements project and had the least prep time as the Earth was first in line. That's a really good point. They had the least amount of prep time. That's damn. They both did a phenomenal job in portraying Din and Rose. Their chemistry was slowly built up each episode. You root for these two to get together, just like Modang. we are all Modang in the audience. Din emerges as a standout lead, blending quiet strength, emotional depth, and subtle romance. Rose is rational, logic, and fierce. They bring out the best in each other. Modang is the ultimate shipper. After Bach, Modang is my next favorite, side character. Yeah, that's valid. Last but not least, the Chaos Cousins. They are the cutest and pure chaos. I can never forget Fi's P-Din! It's iconic. The villains in the story made sense. Yeah, can we add that they weren't caricature villains? They were actually villains with a unfortunately logical motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was fun to watch, and I can't wait for the next loser cousin Nom. Yeah. Nom is up there as a loser. Big gay energy. Oh, the big gay energy word for them is Modang teaching Rose the 3 A's. That was fucking hilarious. Modang's dating advice was, oh my God. Yes, thank you, Q432. That gets a lot of big gay energy. And their Taylor Swift songs for the Earth are You Are in Love, Paper Rings, and Lover. Yeah, all of those. All of those.
Also, basically, I love that you play along with our stuff.
The Lover album is basically
Lover, yeah. All right, next is from BJR, who says, I really like one behind-the-scenes story. Even I could tell that Mim was struggling as an actor in some scenes during the early episodes. I could not, by the way. She had virtually no acting experience and was thrown into a major production as a co-lead. At first, the team around her made it work, but by the end, with everyone's help, she is a solid actor. Apple knew what she was doing choosing her. Also, internally to the story, the villains were all about revenge. They were willing to kidnap and kill to get even with perceived slights. The main heroes, especially Din, just forgive. The heroes generally blame themselves instead of others. No redemption arcs are needed for Cal, etc., even though some occur. That is a moral statement that many viewers/reviewers don't appear to understand or accept. I even have trouble with it, but it is powerful. From various sources, I get a feeling that some people skipped The Earth because it didn't have an established acting pairing. That was certainly a mistake.
Yes, you cannot state that enough. I don't understand that mentality, and I never will.
Especially if you're planning on watching any of the 4 elements, you watch all of it. That just makes sense.
That makes no sense, but yeah, that's why I think there was not a lot of activity until Mom shows up, until the big names show up. Then suddenly everyone's watching it. Yeah.
But how do these big names become big names?
That's what I'm saying.
You watch the shows.
Right. Did you not watch Gap because you didn't know who Freed Becky was? That's so weird.
I feel like everyone started watching Gap when they kept getting us, watch Gap, watch Gap, watch Gap. No, I'm kidding.
Right, but that's if everybody had that mentality, again, Freed Becky wouldn't be Freed Becky because nobody would have watched Gap because they're who are these people? Anyway, that's wild. People are dumb. If you were watching this for some reason because you didn't watch it, because I don't get that, but I'm glad people gave it a chance eventually because the show is good.
The show is really good.
The show is more than just the actors. All right, thank you, Patreon. Now we'll move over to Twitter to see what's going over there. And first, we're going to start with the incredible novel written by Crimson Lotus, aka I assume Crimson Studios from YouTube. I realized too late that I never posted this on YouTube.
Oh,
so
no.
I apologize, everyone. I thought
Glad you found it.
Yeah, thanks for commenting on Twitter, which is more annoying when you're trying to like give a giant comment. So I apologize. Okay, so why does Crimson love the Earth? The cousins! That is the correct answer. May continues. Salmon is back at it again with a fantastic adaptation of one of their novels after Queendom. And as expected, the Earth was as funny as Queendom, quote the novel. But what I didn't expect was human trafficking. You're not alone. Then again, I didn't know anything else about the plot, other than the fact that the 4 novels were about 4 cousins. And here's the thing, when I first heard this, I thought the cousins being cousins was just going to be a background lore detail, parentheses. I would have liked that, but it's usually how it is in media. Yeah, exactly. I also agree. I thought they were just going to be like, they're related. And then you kind of just like move on. Crimson continues, never expected funny, well-rounded group of siblings that got one another's back. Like, honestly, half the stuff that happened couldn't have happened if it wasn't for Lom. She truly was the MVP of this whole thing. Fi is still my favorite, though. Girl, same. Fi, I think, is my favorite of all of them. But I know the least about her, but I think Fi might be my favorite, too. Something I noticed about Salmon, they seem to like using foils. Like how Ray is a perfect foil for print in Queendom, for example, to the point they even transferred to the series that didn't have much in common with the original novel. And I'm still currently reading The Water, and Lotta is also a clear foil for Oppo, aka Nam. In the Earth, it's Rose and Din, but it's actually Din and Wasu, and you can notice it best in the first 2 episodes, like Caitlin pointed out, and how both of them treat Rose. People make fun of how respectful Din is, but I personally think it's the point. I am with you, Crimson. Din respects Rose, her boundaries, and her choices no matter what they are, and even if they aren't in Din's favor, parentheses, she would get along well with Kieran. Oh my god, my adorable love of my life, Kieran from Somewhere
my god,
Somehow.
they would do so well together too. They would be chaotic fools, but seeing those 2 together would be fun.
Kieran is also up there with useless lesbians. Kieran is pretty fucking useless. I love that idiot with everything. All right, sorry. Crimson continues. While Wasu wants to dictate what Rose thinks and do and see Rose as an object, it's almost like you're saying, Crimson, that it's like feminine energy versus masculine energy. Like he feels like he gets to control the women, and Din's like, she's a person. Just saying. Crimson continues. In Queendom, Print having what Ray lacked helped Ray grow into a better version of Ray. While here, Salmon used the same writing technique to tell you, you see how awful this dude is? My Din is nothing like him, which helps the viewer root for Din. Back to The Water. I feel like Shamlada will be more like Ray. I don't know. I haven't continued yet. My guess is that as good as yours. Shrug emoji. Sorry for bringing up Salmon's works. I just think it's interesting to compare and contrast with other works. And maybe getting a few people interested in reading Queendom. I'm one of those people. I plan on reading the Queendom novel. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of this writer, especially having read this one also. Because, yeah, I like the way, I think she puts a lot of effort into characterizing her characters and purposefully setting them up for comparison, like you said, and then setting up this like yin and yang situation that Crimson's pointing out between like the main couple. So it's not just like they locked eyes and they fell in love. It's more like there's something in you that I'm missing, and like together we find balance. And it's definitely true in The Water. I finished The Water, but it's like, it's in a more subtle way, because I feel like in The Water, not to spoil anything, the Lotta and Nam have a lot more in common than they do differences. Like, I feel like Din and Rose are a little more different. And so it's more obvious the way they balance each other. But anyway, continuing with Crimson Lotus. The story itself is very tightly crafted, but truly the characters in the main event here. Yes. Like Theora said before, Salmon seems to be very good with characters. I didn't read that. Yes, thank you. I said it again. Even minor characters, you could easily know what they are all about. But yeah, overall, fantastic story, fantastic characters, fantastic romance, and the most notable, fantastic acting, especially Mim as Rose. Apparently, it's her first acting role ever, too. Also, yeah, Rose. A lot of people already noticed that when the show was airing, and it was a surprise for everyone. In a lesser story, a character like Rose in such a setting, she would have been the damsel in distress and Din had to save her, but she wasn't that at all. And that's why I love the story so much. I think Salmon does a good job of like subverting your expectations. She's like, yeah, here's the trope you would expect her to fall into, and she's not going to fall into that because she's a modern woman. She's Gen Z, bitch. I like Salmon does that a lot where she's like, yeah, here's the trope, fuck that trope. It's really funny. I like when she does that.
That's funny. All right, next comment's from All About Girl Love. And they say, The Cousins. Perfect cast and so much fun, and made me want to discover each series more. Din Rose, they were cute, lovely, fun, and even sexy. Apple and Mim did a great job. Some scenes like the fire were really well done. Yeah, the fire. I watched the behind the scenes of that one, and that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. Although I'm like, Din, break the fucking glass door. What the hell was she doing?
I know, right? That was stupid. How did she get out? How did she finally get out? I want to see that part.
She jumped out a window. That was dumb as shit, though, where Din's just trying to, I'm like, break the glass, bitch. It's glass. Anyway, production's probably like, you were absolutely not breaking this fucking glass, Apple. Don't you dare. But like, girl, break the glass. Pro tip.
Apparently the door was really easy to open. And she had to really pretend. Yeah, like you could just open it really easily. She's like, I wish it was locked.
Yeah. She did a good job trying to make that believable. Anyway, all right, continuing on Twitter, we have Woe_NGK who writes, why they love the Earth. I'd say the process of making the show happen, the fact that we even got this after the first cast fell apart, Min without acting background, but doing her best, and here we are. The best Rose. Yeah, she did great as Rose. Apple with 15 years experience in the industry, supporting Min the best she could. Awesome producer, director, cast, and crew. And favorite moment is Rose executing the 3As. That was Rose being like, let's get in the water, Din, and I'm going to wear this white t-shirt and get it wet. That was so nerved. Like, Din's like, oh, God, boobs. So Rose was hilarious. She's like, yep, look, there it goes. That was fucking crazy. That was funny.
Oh my
that was
gosh,
just evil. Yeah. Poor Din.
All right, next is from Zebby, who says, P. Din was such a green flag, and the romance story was well-paced. Even though it was only 8 episodes, it didn't feel rushed. Mm-hmm. But my favorite part was the relationship between the cousins. They had such great chemistry and really felt like they were related, the way they supported each other, but also teased and annoyed each other.
At peak sibling energy.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely love those morons. They're so funny. Okay. Now let's shoot over to TikTok. So we have S. Desmond1 Gen X who writes, they love the Earth because there was no wasted storyline. It wasn't rushed. Powerful natural body language between the ladies. Yeah, like basically everything was on point. Those are facts you're stating. Except Cow's rushed arc. I would argue.
Yeah.
I would argue that was the one flaw.
Next is from Cam, who says, the way it was put together, the storyline, loved that their kisses were real kisses.
I'm not sure what that means, to be honest with you.
I don't either, but
I think that
that's why you loved it.
I think they did a good job acting out those scenes.
Yes, they did.
They made it feel realistic. Good job, actors. In that regard, I think that's where Apple being like a director comes into play, especially with a new actor, to be like, here's what it's going to look like on the camera, and here's what you need to do to make it look believable, because I'm a fucking director. I think it shows, personally. Mm-hmm. All right, last but not least, we'll go to Instagram to wrap this up. So we have _.larissa._ who writes, loved it, but found the trafficking story a bit intense personally. And that's super valid because
that is fair.
It was intense. It really was.
Yeah. It's not for everybody. All right, next is from call_me_ems_. Honestly, I love the Earth, not really just because of the plot, but more because of the characters. Din and Rose feel real to me, like their relationship is not just cute or romantic. It actually has weight and history behind it. I like how Din is not perfect. She's a huge dork. She's just trying her best while carrying a lot. And Rose is not weak either. She makes her own choices even when it hurts. Also, their dynamic feels natural and not forced at all. and the oh no, I don't know how to say this last name. Within it, cousins and Modang add so much to the story. Without them, it really wouldn't feel the same. Can't wait for Nam's turn to be teased by her cousins.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, I love Nam. Again, if you thought Din was a disaster, just wait. There's one moment in particular where it's like, wow, she's worse than Din. It's so funny. I literally, when I was reading it, I think that was my note in the book. I was like, she's worse than Din. I can't wait. All right, next we have Nora11.08.02 who writes, loved how well it blended the comic aspect with the comedy aspect with the love story. All actors and actresses did a great job, especially Kun Apple, who played Din. Yeah, again, give her an award for being Din because she was funny as fuck.
Give her an award for being Apple.
Yeah, give her an award for fucking directing The Last Case because that was so good.
It's so good. I want that show so bad.
Me too. I want her to keep directing. She's so talented.
All right. Our last comment is from Sarah_63_26. Amazing story. Can't wait for the water.
Yeah. Can't wait for the water. Can't wait to continue the Four Elements stories because honestly, it just keeps getting better and more chaotic and lovely. And it gets to continue, which is probably why I love the water so much.
Yeah.
It's just going to continue, which is really nice. So thank you to everybody who participated and shared why you love the earth. We will keep doing this for the water, the air, and the fire. So stick around. Let us, if we missed something, if there's a scene you loved, we didn't encapsulate a reason why you love the earth, please comment below this episode to tell us why you love the earth. And are you looking for the water? Are you watching the water? What you think so far? Tell us that also.
Yeah. That's it.
Do you have a challenge for them?
I don't. I'm sorry.
That's the challenge. Tell us why you love it. Who's your favorite cousin? Who's your favorite wife? Leave it all in the comments. Just leave it down below. And we'll be back with plenty of more Four Elements content, like I mentioned at the beginning. So tune in for that. And until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.